Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today with 5 of my best decks to get you guys 20 wins in the 20-win CRL challenge. Now guys, before I give you the decks, just a quick disclaimer. Obviously, I've chosen decks that have a relatively low skill cap, so you won't be seeing some bait decks. We won't be seeing Expo today, or Hog Cycle for that matter, because as kind of evidenced by the Pro Challenge, those decks take a little bit more skill to master. My goal today is to give you guys, in my opinion, the top 5 decks played by pros that you guys can use and have immediate success with, hopefully getting 20 wins in the challenge. So if you have another deck that you like and you're comfortable with, by all means use that deck. Okay, let's get into the decks, guys. Let's quickly review them, then we're going to hop into the gameplay today. Got a lot in store for you guys, so let's get right to it, right? So the first deck is going to be an altered bridge spam deck. Now, this deck is very similar to the bridge spam deck that we saw in the Pro Challenge. However, this is the Pompeo version. You guys can use whatever you're comfortable with. Some versions have poison instead of fireball and ice spirit instead of arrows. Not every version runs 3 spells, so certainly make the tweaks that you're comfortable with. Deck number 2 is going to be kind of the classic 3 Musketeers with the minor. Of course, we do have the Bandit in this version. Bandit can be subbed out for Battle Ram or Dark Prince, whatever you're more comfortable with. Deck number 3 is going to be the P.E.K.K.A deck. I love this deck. You guys know how powerful this deck is. It's been at the top of the P.E.K.K.A decks as far as win percentages on Stats Royale since really the meta shifted about a month ago. So this is a really solid deck. And we're going to see Botchum play what Botchum does, right? Lava Loon. Now, if you guys are annoyed by the spam, you want a better kind of answer to the spam decks going around, feel free to sub in your guards for the Goblin Gang. Otherwise, really solid deck. And the last deck is going to be the classic. This is going to be played by Flobby in today's video. It is the Golem Double Prince deck. Now, we've seen so many Golem decks out there, so feel free to go ahead and substitute as you will. A lot of people have been removing the Dark Prince, substituting him with Lumberjack. Feel free to use that version. I see some people, even Diego B, most noticeably recently and competitively, using Poison instead of Dark Prince, so he has the 3 spells, that kind of versatility. Even some people subbing in Mini P.E.K.K.A for Dark Prince. So the rest of the deck is generally the same. But anyway, guys, let's go ahead and get to the pro gameplay, talk about all these decks while we see them in action. Alright guys, so the first replay is going to be Azilies. You guys know Azilies, he's an absolute beast from France. He's going to be playing that P.E.K.K.A deck, the 3rd deck that we shared. By the way guys, we will move in 1.5 speed because I just want to get these decks to you guys. You can get a feel for how they work, and if you want a more in-depth strategy guide, I'll link the full videos with the pros on each of these decks for you guys in the description below. So here you go with this deck. Obviously, you want to start out the match by setting the table with your Goblin Hut. Set the table, Goblin Hut, it's going to give you a nice kind of base to build off of throughout this match. So especially in the first 2 minutes, make sure you're cycling your Goblin Huts. Be rather a passive. Identify your best counters to the opponent's best win condition, right? It's as easy as that. Then once you identify their deck, and this is going to be a common theme, pretty much every deck that we talk about today, and once you identify what deck they're playing, you can punish them. And you saw Azilies absolutely demolish this guy, Clothy, there, and this was a 12 win. By the way, all of these matches will either be competitively done or a 12th win of a grand challenge, so you guys can see kind of what you're up against. So here, we can just go ahead and fast forward. At this point, Azilies has it in the bag. You can see sometimes on one big lucrative counter push, you can totally secure the game using this deck. This deck is really good. Just be careful. Don't use your P.E.K.K.A at all in the first 2 minutes unless they play a Golem, unless they play something where you absolutely need it for a Giant. You mirror their tank with your P.E.K.K.A and you'll be A-okay using this deck. You can see from there, you just defend. Be careful with your spacing in this deck. Very important. You have Goblin Barrel, you have Flying Machine, and you have Zappies. Don't be afraid to play the Zappies in one lane with this deck to bait out a spell. Next deck's going to be, who else? It's Flobby playing this Golem deck, guys. I love this Golem deck. And you can see Flobby has a tough situation. There's no Pump in his starting 4. Make that starting 5 cards. Pump is going to be one of his last cards. So what is he going to do? Well, he's going to defend and cycle. He's dropping off the Prince in the back here. Started off with a Baby Dragon. If your opponent was to pump up, and you don't have an answer for the pump, and you don't have a pump of your own, Flobby recommends playing the Baby Dragon into their pump if they drop it in front of their king tower. So here we go. It's going to be a big push in the right lane. We have the golem down, but first we have to answer against this giant, and he did a great job activating that king tower, which is exactly what you're supposed to do with the tornado, especially in a situation like that where you can tell they're not going to be able to support that push. They have to worry about your golem on the other end. Speaking of the golem, getting a lot of damage. Now, another tip from Flobby, guys, is make sure you're supporting your pushes even when the golem dies and turns into golemites. And you can see he did that there, adding in that Dark Prince. Of course, the opponent did have a good answer in the minion horde, but you guys get the point. Sometimes people will just stop their push when the golem dies and splits into golemites, but oftentimes Flobby says that's when you get the most value. Another great mega minion there. Unfortunately, he is going to have to NATO this giant down, but look at this. The opponent sends in the miner. It's okay. We're going to answer that miner. With this deck, you can take a bunch of damage. You can see how Flobby lightly defends the opposite lane. Doesn't go all out on the defense, and he's able to actually come away. Oh, just barely almost getting that tower down. I was going to say he took it down. 503 HP left, and just doing what we just said again, guys, right? He went in there with that prince afterwards, forced a Night Witch out of the opponent's hand, and it ended up working out for him very well. Now he has the giant and the Dark Prince. All he needs to do is NATO this giant away, and he will finish off the match. Beautifully done by Flobby. Another great player against a 12-win match there. Now this one is from the Pro v Pro, guys. If you missed this Pro v Pro, you should check it out. I will link it below. It was that one guy versus Pompeo. So here's how we do it on CWA. The winner of these Pro v Pros stays on. Pompeo's beat Sergio Ramos. He's beat Mini Minter. He's beat One Hive Hunter. He's beat Surgical Goblin. He's won 6 in a row. He beat that one guy. Spoiler alert for you guys. And this was the deck that he used. This is the first deck that we covered, by the way. It's the Bridge Spam deck. So if you guys are good with Bridge Spam, this is a great deck. You have 3 spells at your disposal. Obviously, use the best spell for the given situation. If your opponent drops a minion horde on your bridge spam, use your arrows, not your zap. Just make sure you're using your spells efficiently. You have 3 of them, so you have an answer to everything. Don't use your arrows on bats. Use your zap on bats. You know, easy stuff like that, right? And you can see Pompeo's going to do a good job of kind of feeling out his opponent early on, and then picking and choosing his spots when to go super aggressively with the spam. So here it comes. It's a battle ram into that golem there. Boy, on double time speed or time and a half speed, it looks like it's moving really fast. Not moving quite that fast, guys, but we're going to be leaning on our Inferno Dragon, obviously, to take care of any tank that you go against with this deck. Now we're going to be going against a Hunter here. Great fireball value. The Inferno Dragon, is he going to get to the tower? He barely got to the tower. Did not, actually. Mega Minion intercepted. Mega Minion is down, though. That one guy is speechless. Wow, I can't believe that Inferno D took care of that Mega Minion for him. So here we go. It's a good fireball from that one guy, but this is going to be a big final push here for Pompeo. Is he going to get to it? That log kind of stymies his push, but then here comes the Dark Prince into the troops. Man, this is fast when it's time and a half. All right, so the Inferno Dragon locks onto that tower, get it down to 334. All he needs is 2 spells. A fireball and an arrows will finish this off, or a zap. Yeah, zap and arrows. Need all 3 of his spells to get the job done. That was a close match. That whole Pro v Pro, guys, was incredibly close. Moving right along, it is the Lava Loon champ. Who else would I show, guys? Who else would I show for Lava Loon? It's Botchum. Now remember, guys, I said we can substitute Skarmy for Tombstone if we want to, and Guards for the Goblin Gang. Alright, so each of those cards have their own strengths. Play a card that you're most comfortable with. Okay, if you have both, if you have Tombstone and, let's see, Goblin Gang, you know, that's going to be what Botchum prefers, but it might not be what you prefer. And Botchum, I've seen him playing the Guards version as well. With all the bridge spam going around, I might actually use the Guard version if I was going to use this deck. Me personally, I'll be using the 3 Musketeer deck that we showed last, played by Surgical Goblin. So here we go, guys. It's a Lava Hound in the same lane as the Golem, but something that Flobby's known to do here is he'll send in the balloon opposite lane if he believes his opponent is out of counters. And in that circumstance, it actually worked out pretty nicely for him, except for the fact that the baby dragon's still at full health on his right tower. So how are we going to come back from this? The opponent has the heavier deck. They're a great player. Latini, a great player. They pump up. How are we going to come back from this, right? Well, it's Nova Botchum, guys. It's Botchum. It's got it under control. I think that German people make fun of the way I say Botchum. I don't... Is it Bosham? I don't know, whatever. All right, here comes the golem in the left lane. This time we're going to go really aggressively here in the right lane. We know that Tombstone's going to pull the golem, so let's see how we handle this. Are we going to base race? Are we going to go for the 3 crown? Let's see. He just used his tornado, so that's great for us. And look at all the elixir he spent on defense there. He is going to get our right tower. 45 seconds left. We're going to need to get another big push in the right lane. I can't believe he came back from this. It's crazy. So here comes the Lava Hound. We're going to definitely take that right tower. It's a matter of, are we going to be able to defend his push in the opposite lane? Lava Hound reaches the tower. We're just relying on Lava Hound to do the key brunt of the damage here to that right tower. Pups actually finish off the job, but now we're defending really, really brilliantly here. We use the Mega Minion kind of intercepting that other Mega Minion, then we drop the Lava Hound, boom, right on top. So all of a sudden, we're in the lead here, guys. We're going to go in all out here. Here comes the Balloon. We know he has Nightwish, we know he has NATO, we know he has the Baby Dragon, and there's the NATO, but look at this, guys. Balloon gets to the tower, boom, fireball down, Balloon drops the bomb, left tower down, Botcham is a god, Lava Loon god. All right, Surgical Goblin versus Soaking, and this is actually from ESWC Gamescom, guys, and this is a really good match here, but Surgical Goblin, who else plays Three Musketeers as good as Surgical Goblin? Well, maybe AK, maybe Donkey Kong, maybe Azilies, but he's up there, top 5 everything, right? Surgical Goblin? Anyway, here he goes. It's a Elixir Pump, obviously with a Three Musketeer deck. This is the deck that I'm going to be using. However, I will use Dark Prince instead of Bandit. That's my personal preference. I like that splash damage. I like to be a little bit more defensively oriented. So we get the spell out of Soaking. Here comes the Three Musketeers. We have 2 in the left lane. He's going to answer with a P.E.K.K.A. This is kind of an annoying deck to go against, Soaking's deck, if you're Surgical Goblin. He has the P.E.K.K.A. He has the, I think he has Zap as the last card. There it is. And he also has Poison. So he has an answer for really for both lanes of any of Surgical Goblin's pushes here. But Surgical Goblin's going to do a really great job. Obviously, with this deck, in the first 2 minutes, you're going to be seldomly using your Three Musketeers. Guys, you're going to be using your Three Musketeers mainly just cycling them, especially with this deck. It's a little bit cheaper. Cycling them in double elixir time, trying to protect your pumps, very, very important. If you're going against a Three Musketeer deck, the #1 thing you do if you have Miner is make sure you save that Miner for the pumps. Try to punish the pumps. Even better if you have Miner and a spell. But we're looking at it from Surgical Goblin's vantage point here, and you can see he has an opening here. He knows that Azilies actually use a ton of elixir there with the P.E.K.K.A. and everything he threw at him in the right. So he decides to go a little bit more aggressively in the right lane, gets that tower down to about 1400 HP, and then cycling back to Three Musketeers again, and this is what I'm talking about, the relentless barrage of Three Musketeers when you get into double elixir time. He has 2 in the left lane just chipping away. That tower's now down to 500, 400 damage, and the Bandit's actually going to get through. The Bandit, the one that I replaced, the card that I replaced, gets through, guys. I'm wishing you guys the best of luck. Huge shout out to all the pros that I highlighted in this video. I wish you guys get 20 wins. I really hope you guys get 20 wins. Let me know in the comments below if you do or you don't. We have a few hours at the time of this recording before it actually goes live. So, guys, just wishing you the best. Thanks so much for watching. Huge shout out to Bren Chong, my YouTube partner, and Stats Royale, new partner on the channel. Check out all the information in the description below, guys. Thanks, and as always, take care, guys.